Hello everybody, Anton here. Today I wanted to share a showcase demo for Unreal and all the assets that go with it. So right now we are inside Unreal. I have my gun right here. Let's play around. So I had a question from one of the commentators here, Pavlovich. He was asking about how to showcase your concept art that you created in 3Brush or 3D Code inside Unreal, because I usually showcase in Keyshot. But it was a really cool question and I decided to dig around. So what I found was this showcase demo on Unreal forum, showcase blueprint. It's really cool, gives you a perfect environment to put an object in and give it some lighting, similar to Mama said pretty much. So all the credit for the actual showcase blueprint goes to Osman. I'll just show a couple functions that you can have here. You have different, so I clicked on the BP showcase right here. You can go and change the different HDR maps. My exposure is a bit too high, so we can regulate the exposure. You can show the environment around, so remove it completely. You can change the vignetting, change the skybox background, fringing, all that stuff. And so it's great, really easy to use, self-explanatory pretty much. And what I added on top was I've created procedural materials for any object to be put inside Unreal and just throw some materials on top to show off your gun or vehicle or prop, whatever you have it. So I've created a master material. So this is the master material, and this is the material instance that got all the parameters you really need to modify to create your material. So for example, obviously metallic, you can turn it on and off if you have non-metal material like plastic. Then they have, well, obviously roughness, put it to 1 to make it non-rough. Any colors you want to put, you put it there. Also the contrast for the actual scratches. So it kind of regulates the amount of whiteness of the mask, of this black and white mask, and the actual textures are all hand painted by me. So I've just made them for this project that you can use and reuse. They're all tileable. Pretty cool for a lot of different surfaces. You use them and overlay them. I used 2 of them at once for this material. Actually, I've just noted that I haven't named those nodes. They were just material expressions. So this map goes for color, this map goes for roughness. Right, so here, my setup here is pretty simple, really. I'm just using the existing tree planar nodes, essentially. Like if you're familiar with Substance Paint, any procedural type of texturing, they project maps from 3 sides, and you get your seamless texture on top. Like so. This is what it does the same way with a few nodes to tint the color, to change the contrast, to change the metallic metalness, roughness, all that, and like activate and deactivate glow. And again, all those nodes are parametrical, so they link to the instance material. And if you're not too much familiar with the material instances, just check out Unreal channel, dig more into that. But you need to use instances. Really, it really speeds up your workflow a lot. And going back to the object, the instance, the UV scale is really important. It really depends on your model scale. So sometimes you have to go really high, like you can see here, it's 500. You can go up to 5,000, or down as 50. So if I change it, you can see instantly it's updating it. Maybe not here, maybe on this material. Let's see. Yep. Obviously it's too big. If you put it too small, it starts to be really noisy. If you put really small, it becomes pretty much non-existent. Or put it to 0. You get a clean mesh with that. Let's put it to 500, 100. I think 100 was top. The contrast. So it's primarily called the grunge contrast. You can. Ah, no, it's not that. Okay, so this is not like a perfect material, so grunge contrast sometimes helps to with the plastics. Doesn't really help that much with as metallic materials in this particular case. So it just darkens and lightens it. So let's. And the cool thing about Unreal is that every time you edit material, it edits real time, much faster than Keyshot, for example, and you can see it in the final resolution right now on the screen. So let's change the color tint in here, and I have a lot of metallic parts, so I'm not even sure which one are affected. No, not that one. So just changing the tinting again. Oh, come on. One of them should be. Okay, let's just drop this guy on top. And right now on my left screen I'm just updating the color. So really easy at once to change and play these colors. It's super cool. Let's drop it on top of the gun. And by the way, the gun itself is included in the demo. You can use in whatever way you want, as long as you don't resell it. You can just export it as well to study it if you want. Like I have it here in Maya. If you want to get it out of Unreal, just Google how to export the assets from there, and you'll find it. So, and then you can just go and take a look at all the profiles I've created for this pistol. It's all been done inside 3D codes. I highly recommend it. It's just really cool software for sculpting, right, and designing. Okay, a few things about setting up this demo for your high poly models. So what I did originally in 3D code, and it was a bit of a hassle here. I've named every object by the actual metal I wanted to assign to it, and when I export it as an OBJ, it doesn't matter OBJ or FBX, every time you export it to Unreal, it will merge it into one object. Like you can see on the right, it's just one pure object, but it's got different elements, and every element responds to a different material. What happened when I exported all these layers? Every layer had actual different material. It created a huge material library which I didn't really want to. What I did in the end, I actually combined those objects and I applied different blend material to each one of them in Maya, and then exported it to Unreal, which kind of a lot of work, you know. It's a lot of hassle, and I'm looking for the better way of doing it. There might be a better way. It might be a better idea if you just drop what you have inside Maya, and then just assign, drag and drop an instance on top of your different elements. So I'm still studying better ways of doing it, and I'll keep you updated on that. But essentially you deal with the materials assigned to your mesh, and then you can edit those. A thing to note is that it is a procedural material, so it's great for static objects. The moment you start moving your mesh, you can see that these textures are staying in the same place, right? So it's really only for presentation purpose. Something if you're planning to put something in game on PBR environment and you want to see how it's gonna look, this is go. Also, one of the things I don't know yet, and I don't think there is a support for that, I haven't seen, I don't know how to adjust curvature on the mesh. I think it's not really possible in Unreal, but I think you can modify ambient occlusion if you want to add some grain and dirt inside ambient occlusion. But again, I'm not too sure. This is stuff you obviously can modify in, Keyshot, Substance Designer, Substance Painter, and they're not inside Unreal. But Unreal got its own benefits, like the speed of the way you can adjust materials and get the final picture is a huge benefit, and the lighting that you can change here is another great benefit. So again, to wrap it up, I'll upload this demo to my Gumroad. It's free to use. Original credit goes to Osman on Unreal forums for creating the lighting environment. The other credit for textures and materials goes to me. You get the whole pistol, get all the materials here, nothing will be excluded. Just dig in, ask me any questions. I hope it will be a useful tool for you. And yeah, see you next time.